appreciate it. It's good to be back.
What do you got, buddy?
Start with you, Michael. I want to ask you, I mean, this is a crazy journey, right? Like 9 months ago, you're fighting for another organization. Now you're here for the UFC Undisputed title. So I just wonder what the feel is like. I mean, at this moment, does it still feel a little bit weird, or does it feel like this was my destiny all along?
Man, it feels like, it feels like this is the way it was supposed to be scripted the entire time. A lot of ups, couple downs, but every road led me here, and honestly, as soon as I made the decision, as soon as that door just crept open a little bit, I said I was going to come in, I was going to kick the door down and showcase my skills and prove that what I have been saying over the last decade, that I believe I'm the best lightweight on the planet, and on Saturday night I get to prove that.
So obviously your resume speaks for itself and what you've done up to this point, but there are some people out there that say the guy doesn't deserve it. He spent 2.5 minutes in the UFC. Why is he fighting for a title? So what do you say? I mean, do you make the argument that, no, I absolutely 100% deserve it, or do you feel there's a little good fortune, maybe some luck, something like that helped out?
These days, the word deserve is a hard one to quantify. I've been in this sport for over a decade. It could be 13 years in August. My resume does speak for itself. I have dismantled 2 former UFC champions. So I love my resume. I love my past. I love my ups and I love my downs. I think my the show that I put on against Dan Hooker, doing in 2.5 minutes what Dustin Poirier couldn't do in 25, what Paul Felder couldn't do in 25 minutes, I believe that was indicative of getting this title shot, not to mention the fact that I came in right away, kicked down the door, said yes to every opportunity, showed up with my work boots on, just like my dad did as a union carpenter for the last 40 years. And I show up, I'm a working man, I'm going to say yes when you call.
One last thing for you, Mike. I mean, you mentioned fighting 2 former UFC champions. I'm just curious, the matchup itself, when you look at it stylistically, where does Charles Oliveira rank in terms of dangerous opponents that you face? Is he the most dangerous opponent you face?
I think you got to put him up there as probably the most dangerous opponent. Not just that. I don't look at the skills that Charles brings to the table. I don't look at the record. I don't look at the submission wins. I don't look at the records that he has right now. I look at the fact that he's had some lost streaks. I look at the fact that he's been in the UFC for almost as long as I've been fighting. He was just a young kid from Brazil with a glimmer in his eye, hoping to be a UFC champion one day. All of a sudden, I know we're going to see the best Charles Oliveira on Saturday night. I expect that. The fans here in Houston, Texas, at the Toyota Center expect that. And we're going to put on a phenomenal show.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Charles, I want to speak to you as well. Completely different path for you. As you said, 10 years in the UFC. So can you put into words what this moment means to you, this opportunity to finally fight for your title?
Charles, eu quero fazer essa pergunta para você, um caminho completamente diferente do Chandler. Você está aqui há quase 10 anos. Como é que foi o caminho para chegar até aqui?
São 11 anos, vai fazer 11 anos de história, né, dentro do UFC. Acertei, errei, aprendi. Estou muito feliz com a oportunidade que estou tendo hoje.
It's been 11 years. There were losses. I heard and I learned, and I'm really happy for this opportunity.
Was there ever any moment along the way where you thought, I'm never going to fight for a title? I mean, I'm a great fighter, I've got a great record, but I'm just not going to be UFC champion?
Teve algum momento que você, sabendo que é um grande lutador, pensou que você jamais lutaria por esse título?
Lógico que não, com certeza, isso nunca ia acontecer na minha cabeça. Eu entrei no UFC, como entrei, falei para fazer história, eu venho fazendo história dentro do Ultimate, eu sabia que é a minha oportunidade de chegar.
No, I never had a doubt. I knew someday I'd get it. I knew someday I'd fight for this title.
Lastly, stylistically, I just want to ask you, I mean, we know what Michael brings to the table in terms of power, striking, great wrestling as well. Do you believe that he'll be willing to engage you in grappling? Or do you feel like this is going to be largely a stand-up fight?
Estilisticamente, você sabe o que o Michael Chandler traz para a mesa? É muito forte, bom striker. Você acha que ele vai concordar em disputar a parte de grappling com você?
O Michael é um cara duríssimo, merece todo o respeito do mundo, campeão do Bellator, tem uma grande história, um cara que é muito duro na parte, pega muito duro em pé, é um cara que trabalha bastante o wrestling, com certeza ele está vindo muito bem, pronto para a luta, mas é como eu falei, eu também estou 100% pronto para a luta e vai ser uma guerra.
Yeah, Michael Chandler is a very good athlete, very powerful, very good. He was Bellator champion, and I'm sure that he's going to bring his best game to the fight.
Dan, just lastly for you, obviously we know the reason the title is vacant is because Khabib Nurmagomedov walked away, one of the greatest of all time. Do you think either one of these guys is going to have more to prove?
He's a fucking bitch. He's a fucking pussy. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to dedicate this fucking song called Mask Off. Chase a check, never chase a bitch. That's Khabib.
What was the question?
Tony, you can interrupt me. Do you think the winner here is going to have more to prove? Like, are people going to question their legitimacy as to whether they're the champion, or do you think on Saturday night one of these two guys will walk away and there'll be no doubt?
Oh, the guy who wins on Saturday night is the champion. Habib left; he's not here, and one of these guys will win, and one of these guys will start to defend the title.
And just lastly, Dana, I'm curious. I mean, obviously, 4 incredible lightweights. Are you looking at the co-main event as a number 1 contender fight?
I don't ever do that. Listen, they're here too. This division is stacked. There's lots of good fights coming up in this division. We'll see how everything plays out on Saturday night. I mean, anything's possible. It's like people are, you just said to him, people are saying that he's getting this too quick. This guy's done everything that has been asked of him since he walked in the door. Timing is everything in life, and it has worked out for him to get this title shot on Saturday night. And we'll see what happens after Saturday. Yeah.
Tony, way in the back. Obviously, a lot in the last 2 fights leading up to this fight's out of your control. Last minute change of opponents before Justin, and obviously limited training before your fight against Charles. So, how is camp this fight week, man, leading into your fight?
I'm a businessman. CSO stands for Chief Security Officer. I had to go back to the board, squash some numbers. We hit the bag. We put everything we could into this camp, and I had to resource myself to my old Ultimate Fighter coaches. Made contact with Brock. He said, do you understand what I was talking about? The difference between chicken shit and chicken salad? I said, absolutely. I talked to Coach Marty Morgan. He said, did you let him take you down on purpose? I said, no. And he said, why the fuck are you going to let anybody else take you down? I talked to Greg Nelson. He said the same kind of thing. And I talked to Coach Eric Paulson. Now, each one of these guys, they know me and they know exactly what I can come from. And I just honed in. And there's no words for this shit, man. Opera non verba. We're going to go out there and get this victory.
And then I'll ask, how do you like the fans back here? Obviously, you're a big fan favorite right now.
Absolutely. UFC 262. We're coming at you hard on the right fucking hook. Make sure you guys buy that shit ahead of time. Let's go.
And question for Beneil. How's camp been ahead of this fight against Tony? That I know you said you are expecting the best, one of the most scary lightweights in history. So how's camp been for you?
Camp was amazing. Had one of the best camps ever. I'm looking forward to fighting Tony, and I think Tony needs to recognize that I'm in front of him. He needs to not worry about Habib right now. He needs to be worried about
homie,
me.
I already know that you went to go help Justin Gaethje. You're a little bitch for going out there and helping him fight for the title. I didn't know you did that. You listened to Ali Abdelaziz and you fucking manipulated your ass.
When
the one thing
asks you for help,
I'm after you,
you
dude.
offer your
you look
offer
man. I have nothing against you.
Listen,
but seriously, my punches are gonna
Justin
fucking
asked
start
for
your
help
ass.
and I helped
I'm gonna knock you out.
Listen, bud, if you had asked me help, I would help you
out,
too.
Kid.
But
I don't care how
many
many fucking Ultimate Fighter fucking people you have over there at UFC.
I don't even know what that
King's
means.
MMA. Look at King's MMA. You have how many UFC fighters training with you? It was the same thing on the Ultimate Fighter when they all went against me. You know what the fuck happened with that one?
What?
Basically, it says you can't bring anybody inside that octagon with you, kid. You think you fucking know me. You want to do spinning shit and everything else like that. You think I'm unorthodox. Kid, I'm going to hit you so fucking hard. That's it.
I love it, Tony. I love it. I want to see it. I want to see every bit of it. I hope you show up.
I'm gonna fucking
I hope you show up like you say
I'm gonna slam you.
I'll be there, bud. I'll be there for everything.
I'm gonna slam you. I'm gonna slam you. I'm gonna slam you like I did my student. I broke his fucking rib.
Well, that's a dick move, bud. Why would you do that to your own student?
Because he made me do it.
Question for Michael in the back.
Who has the next question? Go ahead.
One more for Michael. Historically, you've done very well against high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. That being said, Charles probably might be the most dangerous in the lightweight division right now. So how does his grappling compare to your opponents in the past?
I think Charles is probably the most dangerous guy in the grappling department that I have faced. However, I haven't faced some very high-level competition when it comes to black belts. And my style is more pressure, position, and damage. My wrestling even the way I wrestled in college, transitioning into mixed martial arts, it's more of an anti-jiu-jitsu than it is an actual wrestling offense. You're going to feel my presence, you're going to feel my pressure, and you're going to feel my power when we're on the ground, when we're on the feet. So I think I'm going to thwart every attack. I think I'm going to make him second-guess himself in every single exchange, whether we're on the feet or we're on the ground, and that's where we're going. I'm going to get my hand raised on Saturday night.
Getting the title shot this early into a UFC career, does that validate the decision to come over when you did?
1,000%. You know, making that leap, making that decision was not an easy one. And I just encourage everybody in life, when you have relative security, but you know you're not doing or being where you need to be, make the leap. And that's what I did. That's what I did when I walked on the University of Missouri, became an All-American. That's what I did when I left the relative security of my previous organization, running into the UFC, saying yes to everything, keeping my work boots on, putting on a phenomenal show. And now I believe I become UFC champion because of it. So I think it validates everything. There was a couple sleepless nights there where I wonder if I was making the right decision when I tested free agency. But it has paid off in droves, and here we go. We're about to win a title.
And well, Beneil, I was curious, were you expecting that sort of reception from Tony?
Again?
Were you expecting that sort of reception from Tony?
Honestly, I wasn't even sure what I was going to get from Tony, but I'm glad I got it.
Me too, buddy. The fight's with you. It's not with anybody else.
I appreciate it, bud. Let's go.
Buddy.
Tony, you say the fight's with Beneil, but not anybody else. But what will it be like to finally fight with the fans around you?
It was exciting when there was nothing there, and it was exciting when there's something here. When we go out there, it doesn't really matter. Everything disappears, and it's like tunnel vision. It's exactly what it is. We go out there and we give our best. It's going to be a gentleman fight. We're going to go out there and we're going to give you fans exactly what you fucking earn, which is a good, hard fight. You got these two gentlemen who are fighting for a vacant title, who I had 12 fights in a row, and I fought for a title, but then I got stripped, right? The other day, one of the cameramen tripped over a fucking cord when I was giving an interview, and it was actually not funny. The funny thing is God never puts enough on our plate that we can't handle. And last year, I put so much on my damn plate that he fucking fixed me up for this year, and 2021 is my bitch.
Mark, go ahead.
Over here for Mike Chandler. I just want to. Has life changed for you at all since that big knockout over Hooker? Obviously, it was your UFC debut. What has changed, if anything?
A couple of things on the surface level. You know, a couple more followers, a couple more fans, a couple more pats on the back, a couple more affirmations thrown my way. But you got to keep the main thing, which is what I've done since I was 13 years old, dedicating myself to my craft. So life has changed in a lot of ways. There's a bigger spotlight, a bigger platform, a bigger opportunity. And now getting this title shot, obviously things have changed since. So just blessed to be in this position. And I feel great about it. I feel like I'm just now scratching the surface. I feel like I got another couple of years of having a blast right here in the UFC.
Does any part of you make you regret, like, maybe not coming over to the UFC sooner?
No, it's a great question because, 4 years ago, and I told Dana this when we had that conversation. I said 2 years ago, 4 years ago, I wouldn't have been the man, the competitor, the champion that you deserve to have under your banner. I wouldn't have been that man. Now I am that man. Now I am that guy. And I think that performance at UFC 257 proved that. I think the way that I've handled everything thus far has proved that. And at this point, as I said, I feel like I'm still just scratching the surface. And I think timing is everything in life, and the doors stay closed for the right amount of time until they're ready to be opened. And that door opened at the exact right time and under the perfect circumstances. And you talk about this title shot. I'm just a beneficiary of some interesting circumstances with Khabib retiring, Poirier and Conor having their trilogy. So he could not have scripted it any better. It's perfect.
You fucking dodged me too, Chandler.
Hey, that's not
You're
true.
a bitch.
Hey.
Every fucking person out here except for this guy right here that's sitting next to me.
Hey, that's not true.
I'm gonna be real, man.
Tony.
The other side, those are
You could have
We're
fought me
over here to
January
this side's victory
23rd. You could
table.
have fought me January 23rd, and I would have done the same thing to you.
Hey, man, you fucking said no, man. I'm gonna be real. You got this shit handed to you. You got Dana White privilege.
Tony. Thanks, Dana.
It's all love, baby.
Goodness.
Check this shit out. Dana was right. He said timing is everything. Like I said, it wasn't meant for me to have the title, man. I would have gave everybody a chance, right? Fucking awesome. No, absolutely fucking not. These guys are going to try to keep the title away from me as much as they can. I'm Mexican. It doesn't matter if you're colored up here or not. But I'm made with American parts, too, so let's fucking go.
Do you have another question?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Charles, so many Brazilian fighters, especially the elite ones, a lot of them come to the United States. They do their training camps in the U.S. You stay in Brazil. You stay in Brazil for your whole training camp. Why is that? Why is that important to you?
Charles, todos os lutadores brasileiros vêm para os Estados Unidos e treinam aqui, mas você escolheu ficar no Brasil e treinar lá. Por quê?
Você tem que treinar onde você se sente bem. Né? Vários vieram para cá e se sentiram bem em ficar aqui. Eu já vim, mas eu me sinto bem treinando no Brasil com a minha família, né, perto da minha equipe. Cada um tem a sua escolha.
Yeah, you need to train where you feel good. A lot of them Brazilians come here, they feel good. I've tried, I didn't feel good. I feel good near my family. I feel good in Brazil training with my team.
Thanks, Charles. And for Tony, someone asked Beneil about the reception you've gotten in Houston. It seems like this is El Kakui country. Are you surprised by the reception you've gotten here?
No, I was off for a year and a half. I had an injury that was from my arm on an arm break. Year and a half set me back. When I came back here and I fought in Houston against Mike Rio, I finished him. I got lots of love here. I remember when Travis Brown, I think it was Travis Brown, he said, Dana, I know we're here for the performance bonus meeting. He says, you know, everything's bigger in Texas, Dana, right? Right, remember that? And he said, how about a bigger bonus? So I'm going to ask you, Dana, since we're here like last time, can we get a bigger bonus this time? If we go out there and get a fucking bigger fight? Can we get it? Can you dig it? Let's get it.
Do you have another question?
I do. One more.
Go ahead.
Guess that's a no.
For Dana, I asked Mike Chandler if he had any regrets about maybe not coming to the UFC sooner. Do you kind of wish that you had Mike Chandler before now?
I agree with him. I think that everything has worked out perfectly for him. No. Yes, if it would have been great, but it's all worked out great for him. It literally has been perfect for him since he's been here.
And then just one more. Charles Oliveira has been in the UFC since 2010. He was really young when he started. Did you always knew he was capable of this elite level in the lightweight division?
Well, the guy's been on a tear forever. Timing hasn't worked out as well for him as it has for Michael Chandler. But he finally got here and, always been a dangerous guy, has had some ups and downs in his career. But he's a talented dude, and here he is, finally getting his shot.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Go ahead.
Mike, would getting that belt on Saturday night be the validation of your career? We know you've been top 5, but it was like, yeah, he's not doing the UFC. So if you envision Dana putting that belt on you, would that be the validation to let, I told you, them efforts?
Yeah. I mean, I've really kind of thought about that a lot because there has been a lot of swallowing of my pride, a lot of humbling myself, and a lot of interactions when I've been around my UFC friends over the years. But no, I think this isn't about proving those people wrong. This isn't a gotcha, proved you guys wrong, I told you so. This is about all my supporters, all the fans, all the people who have been by me and believed in me over all these years, even when I was outside this organization. So it's more for them and for my wife, my son, my family, the people who have been around me since day one. It's just validation for all of them. We did it, baby.
You alluded earlier about scratching the surface. So when you see your name on that banner, is that about being that pay-per-view guy? Is that what you mean by breaking out and scratching the surface since we hadn't seen the best of you yet?
I don't think so. I think you've only seen 2.5 minutes of me perform inside the octagon. I think Saturday night we'll get a couple more minutes for sure. There's no guarantees. We'll see. But yeah, I think I just love all this, man. I'm having a blast right now. I feel like maturity and preparation, everything came together at the exact right time, and I'm right where I need to be. And yes, I do believe I'm just scratching the surface.
Next question is from Beneil. Do you think Tony is closer to the end of the career or the beginning of the career? Do you think Father Thomas tapped on his shoulder since we're starting to see stuff that we hadn't seen happen to him his whole career happen more frequently?
Well, I mean, he's 37, I believe, right?
I'm fucking old.
Yeah, I mean,
Still beating the shit out of these youngsters.
I'm not that young either, but obviously we're at the latter end of our careers. But
that's you, brother. That's you.
Thanks.
That's all quits on you, man.
Yeah.
I can see it in your face.
Okay.
That's fear right there. No, that's fear.
In my opinion, it's the latter end of his career, but it still could be the best part of his career. It just depends on him.
I still haven't even hit my prime yet.
And we know you're a quiet guy by nature. What do you think about the trash talking back and forth?
Listen, I just don't understand the guy. He says, "Oh, it's because I'm Mexican." Bro, Canelo is one of the highest paid athletes because he's Mexican. And it's like, I was born here on a certain American living in America. Like, there's no issue.
Your head.
Like, quit making it about race.
Your head,
quit trying to find something to complain about. Just show up and fight.
Fear. That's what you're gonna hear.
The next one is to Tony. I know you're a Canelo fan. Did you like that performance last week?
I didn't watch. I was too busy training. I didn't watch it. I was busy training. I was pushing a truck or fucking pulling something or like slamming something or doing something, losing weight or doing things that obviously, check this out. I don't take vacations. Look at Kobe said the same thing. He went to Goat Mountain. He fucking, this is off of something I listened to, and he went back to his resources and he was saying these times right now, he's like, if you're spending time on vacation, you're watching these things out there, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. I went out there the other day when UFC came to film me, right? Check this out. And I told him, I was like, check this out. Film my gloves right there. You get some B-film, B-reel right there. And right there I had 225 on the rack, right? I had 225 on a deadlift bar, and I started hitting traps. And I told them straight up, I was like, hey, they're like, why don't you tell us that you're going to do this? I said, I'll get 1,000 before the day's done. So I had 225 on a trap bar. Took me about 4 hours.
Would we safe to say that this is El Kukui 2.0?
I wouldn't say it's El Kukui 2.0. I would say in the last couple of years, walked around drunk and stupid for everybody to kind of like assume that that's how it was. And then what I did was I took an Olympic mentality and I took away all the variables, right? Even before when I went for the UFC and the Ultimate Fighter, when I had to fill out all the questionnaires and the shit, I took away all the variables and I went back to the drawing board where before everybody knew me. And it's an Olympic mentality, and you guys will see it on Saturday, UFC 262.
Next one for Dana. Does the winner of Conor and Poirier get the winner of Saturday night?
Well, I answered that question a minute ago. I said I don't know. We'll see how all these fights play out.
What's your gut tell you?
Huh?
What's your gut tell you?
He's hungry.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't really do that anymore. I don't say, oh, this is going to happen to that. So let's see how these fights play out, and we'll go from there.
And of course, y'all let the live gate and all that good stuff, and then Canelo and them did what they did last week. How do y'all top what y'all did in Jacksonville and put it all together and raise another level, UFC style?
What's the question?
How do y'all raise the level, like get more people in and do a crazy mega event that y'all haven't done before pre-COVID to do after COVID, like Canelo did with the 75,000 last week?
We're doing fights every weekend. We do fights literally every weekend.
Question in Portuguese for Charles Oliveira. Charles, desde a derrota para o Paul Felder, foram 8 vitórias seguidas, vários bônus de performance da noite, agora a chance é o cinturão. O que aquela derrota te ensinou? Tem um Charles novo desde aquela luta?
So Charles, ever since you lost to Paul Felder, it's been 8 straight wins, multiple bonuses. What did you bring from that loss? Is that what brought you here now?
A luta é assim, você tem que aprender. Eu aprendi com a derrota. Eu evoluí, eu procurei treino, eu procurei evoluir. Eu queria lutar com esses campeões, com esses caras que são os primeiros da fila. E graças a Deus aconteceu. Estou muito feliz.
Yeah, fighting's like that. You learn from your losses. I learned from that. I learned that I need to be better if I want to be here amongst these guys. Fighting and life is like that.
Como você disse, são 14 finalizações, 16 bônus de performance da noite. Esse ano você completa 11 anos no UFC. O que essa chance ao cinturão representa para você? O que esse título representa agora que você está tão pertinho, né, de finalmente conquistar?
Olha, é legado, né?
There are 14 finishes by submission, 16 bonuses. What does this chance for this title mean to you?
Olha, é um legado, né? A gente tem que deixar um legado. Minha primeira entrevista no UFC, eu lembro que eu falei que queria fazer história, eu venho fazendo história. Maior finalizador, sou o segundo recordista de bônus. E eu quero aumentar meu legado, eu quero mostrar para todo mundo que eu posso lutar com esses grandes campeões, com esses grandes nomes que tem dentro do UFC. Quero fazer história.
Yeah, it's about legacy. I have the most submissions. I'm the second most bonuses. I want to prove that I can hang with these guys. It's about my legacy. That's what I want to prove here.
Shmo.
Question for Du Bronx Oliveira. You fought a lot of killers. When you found out you'd be getting the title shot, and you found out it was against Michael Chandler, what was your first reaction?
Charles, você já lutou com vários matadores. Quando você descobriu que você ia lutar contra o Michael Chandler pelo título, qual foi seu pensamento?
Cara, de verdade, eu tô aqui não em testar. Foi isso que eu falei, eu tô aqui não em testar. Michael Chandler é um cara duríssimo, merece todo o respeito do mundo. Teve a oportunidade dele de lutar pelo título e eu também. Eu tô feliz com isso. Vai ser um grande show, tô pronto para isso.
I'm here to test myself. Michael Chandler is a very tough guy. He's beat a lot of tough guys. So this is test. I'm very, very happy.
Mr. Michael Chandler, after you got the victory in your UFC debut, you did a Zoom call with the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Ric Flair said he'd be walking out with you at your next fight, title shot. is the Nature Boy Ric Flair walking out with you?
Hey, it remains to be seen. I'm not gonna give away any secrets, but yeah, Ric Flair has become a friend of mine. That's right. So he's a legend. So it'll happen sometime in the future.
Last question for Dana. What are the chances in the next 6 months the UFC will go international again for a pay-per-view fight?
I don't know. It's going to depend on how this whole thing plays out. Obviously, we're doing Houston, then we go to Arizona, then we go to Vegas. I don't know anything beyond that. Hopefully it opens up, and hopefully we're going international again and all over the rest of the country, but I have no idea right now. This will be the last question right here. What do you got, buddy?
Charles, você acabou de responder a importância desse cinturão para você. Eu gostaria que você me dissesse qual a importância desse cinturão para o MMA do Brasil.
Charles, you've already answered us that how important it is for you to win this title. I'd like to know, what do you think? How important do you think it is for Brazil, for the fighters in Brazil?
É como eu falei agora, né? Eu quero fazer história. Eu quero que meu nome, né, entre no Brasil como os grandes campeões foram, né? Anderson Silva, José Aldo, entre outros. Eu quero que meu nome também esteja lá, né? Como um grande campeão, do jeito que eu sou, humilde, respeitador, lutando com esses grandes nomes que estão aqui hoje.
It's about history. You know, I want to be like all the other great champions from Brazil, like Anderson, like José Aldo, with my humility, with my attitude. It's about history.
Cinturão em jogo, pay-per-view, o retorno do público. Muita coisa em jogo para você, né, nessa noite de sábado. Como foi para você lidar com toda essa mudança durante a semana? O que mudou? Muita pressão, muita entrevista?
The belt, the title, pay-per-view, second fight with the public after the pandemic. What does this all mean to you? How much did it influence you during this week?
Cara, de verdade, estou curtindo meu momento, estou aproveitando meu momento. Eu lutei com grandes nomes, né? Eu já cheguei a lutar com grandes nomes, são 8 vitórias seguidas, né? Então, eu estou tranquilo da minha luta, eu estou tranquilo com tudo que vem acontecendo. A volta ao público vai ser show de bola, a gente vai estar todo mundo lá para dar um grande show para todos vocês. O card está perfeito, o UFC 262 vai ser perfeito.
Truly, I'm coming off 8 straight wins, you know, against tough guys. It's going to be great. I was ready for it. I'm ready for it. It's going to be beautiful.
Última pergunta. Não, o que eu queria saber de verdade, Charles, é toda essa, enfim, a sua evolução nos últimos anos, são 11 anos. Qual mensagem você deixaria? Por que foi possível para você chegar a esse ponto depois de 11 anos? Qual foi a chave? Qual foi o grande aprendizado?
Primeiro, fé.
After 11 years with all this evolution, what was the key to get you here? How did you surpass all these difficulties?
Primeiro, fé. Você acreditar em Deus. Depois, a minha filha, minha família. A todos os fãs que acreditam em mim, a todas as coisas que eu fiz, ao meu time. Sou muito grato ao meu time, essas pessoas que estão na minha frente. Eu tenho orgulho de representar o Macaco Gostinho, de futebol com o Diego Lima, né? E está crescendo cada vez mais.
It's about faith. First of all, in God. It's about my family, about my team, about the people in front of me, about the fans. That's what motivates me.
We're going to pull this stuff out of here and square these guys off for some photo ops. Thank you, Houston. We appreciate you.